tune into your breath, notice the inhales, expanding chest, ribcage, maybe some of the belly. The exhales, lowering chest, drawing ribs in, and drawing that lower belly up and in. And then focus on the side body. Notice that there is movement there too. The ribs moving towards your arms as you breathe in. The ribs moving towards the spine as you breathe out. And then as you continue with your breath, notice that there is also movement and sensation in your back body. As you breathe in, see if you can feel your back ribs move away from your spine. And then as you breathe out, you might feel those back ribs draw in and back towards the spine. Finding that three-dimensional breath, think about length through your spine as you breathe in, and try to keep that length on your breath out. If you haven't already, breathe a bit more through your nose, and see if that deepens and lengthens your breath. A couple more breaths here. And then use your next inhale to open those eyes, reach your arms wide and overhead. Palms maybe touch, and then on your exhale, turn your palms out and lower those arms down by your side. If you're on the floor, maybe your fingertips touch the ground. And then inhale again, reach your arms wide and up. And exhale, take them wide and down. One more like that. Inhale, take as much space as you can, breathing in. And exhale and breathing out. This time on your inhale, your arms come out into a T, palms are facing forward, and then wrap your right arm across the chest, bend the elbow, and use your left hand to draw that right elbow in. Notice a stretch around the right shoulder blade. Think about lifted, lengthened spine. Another breath in. And another breath out. Arms open, inhale, and then switching. Left arm comes across, elbow bends, and the right hand is going to help that elbow come a bit closer and emphasize that stretch on that left shoulder blade area. As you inhale, arms return out into a T, turn the palms to face back, and then see if you can grab a hold of your hands behind you, interlacing your fingers. And then send the knuckles towards the floor. Depending on the length of your arms, those knuckles might touch the floor. And then use that to push into the floor a little bit more as you squeeze shoulder blades, open and broaden chest. Another full inhale and a full exhale. As you breathe in, release those hands, arms go wide and again up overhead. And this time left arm down for a side bend, reaching up and over. Come back through center, breathing in. And now your right hand is going to come behind you and we're finding a twist towards the right side. Give a little pull on that right thigh with your left hand and give a little push into the ground with your right hand. And then now keep your left hand where it is, turn your torso forward and bring your right arm over the left. See if you can grab a hold of the other leg and then bend your elbows, round your spine, chin towards your chest. Space in that back body, take a full breath in, keep pulling on those legs. Full breath out. And then as you inhale, unwind, rise that spine, lift those arms, and then we're switching sides. Right arm down for the side bend. Take a breath. And then on your inhale, returning through center and now twisting towards your left. So left hand behind you, right hand crossing over. Remember, with your twist, you're trying to rotate through your rib cage. So try to keep your right shoulder back, your chest open. And then keep your right hand where it is. Your left arm is going to come over the right. See if you can find the other leg. And then again, bend into the elbows, pull into those legs as you round your spine. Chin towards your chest. Space in that back body. Take a breath in. And take a breath out. And then as you inhale, unwind, reach those arms tall. And on your exhale, let your arms relax down by your side. If you were sitting cross-legged, switch the cross of your legs. And then make your cross-legged seat a little bit more active. What do I mean? So see if you can flex through your feet. Okay, so your knees might be a bit more lifted. See if you can press down into the floor through the pinky side of those feet. And then your hands are going to come onto the inner part of your knee, inner thigh, right? And we're going to find an argument between the legs and the hands. So the hands are going to be pushing the legs down, and then the legs are going to resist. They're going to be pushing back into the hands. And you're going to do that for a count of 5. And really, really give it your all. So really push and push back. So when you're ready, a little bit of a rounded spine over your legs, a bend in your elbows, and then begin to push those knees down and push back with your knees for 5. For 4, keep pushing both directions. For 3, legs are pushing back. For 2, and for 1, and then relax. Relax through your shoulders, give them a roll. Let the hips, the legs relax too. Maybe if your feet were flexed, maybe you point those toes a bit more now and your knees can drop a little further. Take one more breath here. And then with your next inhale, reach your arms wide and up. Interlace your fingers overhead and bring the hands to the base of the skull. Open up those elbows, broaden through your chest. And then on your exhale, elbow to elbow in front of you as you round your spine, dropping your elbows into your lap. And then open again, breathing in. And rounding, breathing out. One more, inhale, open. And exhale, and round. As you breathe in, come back through center. You can reach your arms up. And then on your exhale, release those arms down and return them onto your legs. Again, activate those legs. So flex through your feet. Pinky side is on the mat, but it's beginning to push a bit more actively. Your knees might have lifted some. Your hands are on your knees, or you could bring your forearms if you wish. So you could now push with your forearms instead. And then we're going to find that argument again. So you're beginning to put a bit more weight into those legs, and now the legs are going to resist that. And again, for a count of 5. So begin to push in both directions for 5, for 4, legs are working, for 3, for 2, push back with those knees, try to lift them, 1, and release and soften. And now bring your feet out. Knees are bent, you're planting your feet, hands to outer hips, and some gentle window shield wipers. Drop the knees to one side. Center, drop them to the other. Center, and again, switch and switch. And then bring those knees back through center, and we're going to do it 2 times more, but now you're going to switch the cross of the legs. So hopefully you remember which one was in front, or which leg was in front, and if not, it's no big deal either. But again, so find that cross-legged seat, find that flexion through your feet, toes towards your shins, hands or forearms on the inner part of your knees, thighs, rounded spine, and then begin to push in both directions. Again, for 5, for 4, for 3. Usually the legs need to do a little bit more work here. For 2, think about lifting those knees. For 1, And relax those legs. Again, relax through the torso. Maybe give your shoulders a little roll. And then as you breathe in, take your arms wide and up. And on your exhale, left arm down, side bend. This time, top elbow is going to bend, hand to the back of the head. Think about that elbow lifting up and the gaze looking up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, right elbow towards left knee, left thigh. Inhale, let's open up. Exhale, and again, round and twist. One more. Inhale, open. And exhale, and lower. As you breathe in, bring yourself all the way back through center, and we'll take it over to the other side. Right arm down, find that side bend. And then bend that top elbow, hand to the back of the head. As you breathe in, think about opening up that chest as if you were trying to lift it or to look up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, close up that front body as you round and lower. Inhale again, open up. Exhale and round. Last one, open. And exhale, round. As you breathe in, come back through center, reach your arms tall, and on your exhale, return your hands to your legs. Last one of these. So again, a bit more active through your legs. Pinky side of your feet is pushing down into the ground. Hands or forearms, whatever you prefer, on your thighs. And then take a breath in and begin to push in both directions. 5, 4, push, push, push. 3, knees are trying to lift, arms are stopping them. 2, 1, soften through the face and release. Nice work. All right, right leg is going to come out to the side, left heel towards the inner right thigh, right toes towards the ceiling. Take a full breath in as you reach your arms tall. And then on your exhale, turn your torso towards your right leg. So some rotation here through your rib cage, and then see if you can frame your right leg with your hands and see if you can direct your chest towards your toes. So we're not rounding the spine right now. Think about neutral spine, nice. Yeah, really nice. Breathing in. Breathing out. Can you draw those shoulder blades just a little bit closer together? One more here. And then as you breathe in, rise all the way up, reach your arms overhead, and a twist towards the left side, left hand behind us, right hand crossing over. Try to keep your right leg just as it is. Another breath here. And then return the torso through center, reach your arms overhead, and this time we're folding straight forward. So hands in front of you. And again, think about your chest reaching forward. Can you keep that neutral spine? Can you still draw your shoulder blades a little closer together and towards your back ribs, so down? One more here. And then as you breathe in, rise all the way up. Bring a little bit more weight into your sit bones. So lean back and then see if you can bring your right leg in and extend your left leg out to the side. So right heel coming towards the left inner thigh. Toes are flexed, leg is active, and then arms reach tall. Breath in. On your exhale, find that rotation. Rotate that spine towards your left leg and then frame that left leg with your hands. Now from here, try to keep your chest broad as you reach that chest towards your toes. Breathing here. One more. Shoulder blades squeeze, chest is open. And then as you breathe in, rise all the way up. Arms can reach tall, and let's find that twist towards the right. Right hand behind us, left hand crossing over. Shoulders stay more or less in line with the hips, and the chest is open and broad. With your next breath in, coming back through center, and last one here, folding forward, lowering those hands. Don't take your hands too far forward, because if you take them far forward, you're going to protract shoulder blades, you're going to round. So hands close to you, somewhat in front of you, but the elbows are bent so that you can keep pulling those shoulder blades back and you can stay open through your chest. So countering what we usually tend to do, gravity does for us, that rounded spine, which is kind of the easy place. See if you can counter it a bit in your practice here. One more breath. And then as you breathe in, rising up through that torso, you can reach your arms up if that feels good. And on your exhale, releasing your arms, bringing that left foot in. You're again more or less in a cross-legged seat, and we've been doing this for a bit, and see if it works for you. So bring your heels of the feet really close to your sit bones and wrap your hands around the tops of the feet. And then as if you were trying to pack your feet underneath you, see if you can roll onto those knees. And then you're coming into a table pose. If that didn't happen, bring your feet to one side and then find your table pose this way. Hands are under shoulders, knees are under hips. Let's give the tops of the feet a little tap against the mat. And then pause that. See if you can spread your toes and see if you can feel the toenails pressing against the ground. And see if that pinky toe can also do a little press down. And then let's find some cows and cats. So dropping belly, chest forward, gazing up. Rounding spine, exhale. And a few more, breathing in. And breathing out. Sometimes, poses that we do a lot, we take them a bit for granted. So see if you can discover something new or some new quality to your cows and cats. Maybe you can find just a little bit more movement through the back of the neck, or you could find a bit more tucking of your tailbone as you go into cat, a little bit more lift of the sit bones as you go into cow. And last one, breathing in and breathing out. And then let's find a neutral spine here. And then your left knee is going to float off the ground, your left shin and left foot. And then begin to circle that left knee, first pointing down towards the floor. And then beginning to make those circles bigger. So maybe it comes towards the left wrist, out to the side, up behind you. And as you make these circles, slow things down so there's a bit more agency over the movement. More work too. And then switch direction. The torso stays stable, nice work. All right, and the next time that the knee is out to the side, to the left, pause there for a moment. And then on your exhale, just lower the knee, hover it over the floor next to the right. And then again, opening it to the side, lowering. And one more, open. And lower. Extend that left leg all the way out behind you. Plant the ball of the foot, knee is lifted. Heel is pushing away from you. Draw that lower belly gently up and in. Push through your arms, a little protraction through that upper back, and then see if that right knee, right shin, right foot can float off the ground without changing too much the position of your hips. So a tucking tailbone, drawing lower belly up and in. One more breath. And then on your exhale, right knee, right leg down, left leg rises, and lower it back down. Table pose, knees are together under the hips. Take a cow and a cat, drop the belly, lift the chest, and round the spine. And you guessed it, we'll take all of that to the right side. So float that right knee, right shin, right foot, and begin your circles. First pointing down, and then gradually taking them a little wider, the knee coming closer to the wrist, out to the side, up behind you. A little bigger, a little slower. Use your breath here, and then begin to switch direction. Feeling that outer hip working, those glute muscles. And then the next time that your right knee is out to the side, lifted, pause for a moment, take a breath in, and on your exhale, lower that knee, hover it over the ground next to the left. And then again, open up right and lower. And one more time, open that knee to the right and then lower it. Extend that right leg all the way out behind you. Plant the ball of the foot, push through the heel, draw the lower belly, the lower ribs gently in. Push a bit more through your hands. Remember, finger pads, base of your fingers, and then see if that left knee, shin, foot lifts off the ground, but without lifting your hips. So your hips stay right where they were. Another breath in, another breath out. Keep pushing through the heel, last inhale. And left knee, shin down, right leg lifts, and then bring it back into table pose. Nice work. Let's keep those knees and hips where they are. Those hands are going to go wide, and then we're walking those hands forward without changing the position of the hips. Puppy pose. Your hands will be on the ground, your forearms maybe, your elbows maybe, and maybe that chest drops a little further towards the floor. More of a passive stretch right now. You're letting gravity kind of, stretch actually the fronts of the kind of the armpit area, the chest. See if you can feel that. Shoulder blades are coming a little closer. Another breath in. And another breath out. And then from this puppy pose, walk your hands a little closer in. Not so much as table pose. And then we'll make our way into down dog. Tuck your toes, lift your knees and hips. Drop the head and relax through the neck. You might look under your right armpit. Look under your left. A few times. There might be an open mouth exhale that feels good here. One more breath. And then walk those hands towards your feet. And we're coming to the back of the mat, folding forward. Hold on to opposite elbows. Give those hamstrings a little tension. Bend into the right knee, straighten through the left. And then switch, bend into the left and straighten to the right. And a couple more. Switching from side to side, getting that extra stretch through the back of the leg. And then a bend in those knees, hands to the hips, and unroll the spine, rising all the way up to stand to find your mountain pose, arms by your side. Now take a moment just to get acquainted with standing. Arms are heavy, shoulders down, crown of the head is reaching tall. And feel those feet well planted. Spread your toes and then plant them, press them down. And even out your weight between the front and the back of the foot and between the pinky side and the big toe side of your foot. And then when you're ready, take your arms wide and up overhead. Inhale. And on your exhale, right arm down, side bend. Come back through center, breathing in. And take it over to the left as you breathe out. Back through center. Inhale, fingers interlace overhead, palms towards ceiling. Set your gaze and maybe those heels leave the ground. Push the palms up. Press through the balls of the feet. Take another breath in. And then on your exhale, heels down, arms wide, a bend in the knees as you fold all the way down. Halfway lift on the inhale. Forward fold as you exhale. Walk your hands to the top of the mat. Start in a plank pose first. So that long line from crown of the head to heels. And then keep the position of your hands and feet and take this into down dog, lifting your sit bones up and back, pushing your heels down towards the mat. Full inhale and a full exhale. Now, from your down dog, we're going to try and do the same thing that we did in table pose. So some rotations through the hips. So you might bring your feet a little closer together and then see if you can bend your left knee, lifting your left foot, and then begin to circle that left knee. Just like you did in your table pose, but now you're in a downward facing dog. Think about that knee lifting out to the side and up towards the ceiling. Okay, so full circle here, just like you did in your table. And then switch direction. A couple more breaths, slow and controlled as best you can. And then return that left foot to the ground. From your down dog, come out into a plank pose. And on your exhale, return to downward facing dog. Do that 2 more times. Inhale out into plank. Exhale back into down dog. 1 more. Inhale, plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pause in your down dog once again. Heels are heavy. You're pushing the floor away with your hands. And then let's try this on the right side. So right knee bends. Think about the right heel going towards your right glute. And then begin to find that circling action. And you start with maybe the knee pointing down, but then start to take it out to the side and up towards the ceiling. One direction. And then switch direction. Take breaks anytime. And if you'd rather do this from table pose, you can always do it there. And then return that right foot to the ground. Take another breath in. And then on your exhale, lower your knees to the mat and find a child's pose for 3 breaths. Sit bones towards heels. If your wrists are feeling a little tired, a little fatigued, turn your palms to face up. Give your fingers a little gentle wiggle. And find a full breath in and a full breath out. 1 more here. And with your next inhale, palms back to the mat, lifting through all 4s and return to your downward facing dog. Sit bones up and back. Full breath in and full breath out. With your next inhale, walk again your hands towards your feet, so coming to the back of your mat. And as you exhale, fold forward. Hold on to opposite elbows, take a deep breath in. And then bend into your right knee and again straighten through the left. Stretch the back of the leg. And then switch. Left knee bends, right leg straightens. 1 more on each side. Switch. And switch. And both knees bend, hands to hips. And once again, slowly rising up. Head is heavy. Let the head be the last thing to lift. And find your mountain pose once again. All right, arms by your side. Okay, so we're going to make our way to the top of the mat with some pyramid poses. And I'm not sure, but I think we did it on Monday. So again, it's a way to get into the hamstrings too, but from a standing position. So a little balance involved. The right knee is going to lift. Your hands could be at your hips. Right knee lifts. And then extend that leg and then plant your right foot. Both legs are going to stay straight. So you've got a stance, not a too long of a stance. Back foot stays planted. And then from here, we're going to hinge from the hips. So think about hip flexors flexing as you go forward and down with your torso, but don't go further down than parallel to the ground. Think about crown of the head reaching forward, sit bones, tailbone reaching back. Okay, so a stretch through the front leg. Try not to lock that right knee. Push down through the ball of the foot. Another breath in here. Breath out. And then with your next inhale, we're going to lift that torso. Bring more weight into your right foot. And then see if you can bring that left knee in and up. And then extend that left leg and then step it forward. And now find your pyramid pose on this side. So when you're ready, both feet are planted and hinge from the hips forward and down. And without locking that front knee. So locking means that the back of the knee is kind of pushing back. Try to push the front of the knee a little bit forward. Breathing in. And breathing out. And then as you inhale, lifting that torso, right knee comes in. And as you exhale, right foot plants next to the left. We should be at the top of the mat. Breathing in, arms wide and up overhead. Grab a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Give it a little squeeze and pull towards the right side. Send your sit bones a little, your left hip, a little bit towards the left. And then as you breathe in, come back through center and do the same towards the left side. So left hand around right wrist, pull, and take it over to the left. And maybe send your hips a little bit to the right. And keep opening through the right chest. And then as you inhale, come back through center. Arms go wide and folding forward. Halfway lift, breathing in. And exhale, planting hands downward facing dog. Take a full inhale. And take a full exhale. With your next breath in, lift your heels. And to a count of 5, we're lowering the knees. Can you lower your knees without changing your down dog in your upper body? 5, 4, 3, 2, hover for 1, and knees to the mat, and your table pose. All right, so we're going to get into some supported side planks from here, and we're going to work a little bit through the outer part of the hips. So a little sequence to get in it will be familiar. Left leg is going to extend. Inhale. Exhale, knee to chest, round your spine. Inhale, extend. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, left knee, right elbow. Inhale, extend, pivot on your right knee. Your right shin is your kickstand. Open up to your left arm towards the ceiling. Okay. So remember, your right shin is straight out behind you, so your hips can open up towards the left. Your left leg is going to be extended. Flex through the foot. If you have it down, see if now you can lift and then hover and lift using your outer hip, and hover and lift and hover. 2 more, lift, hover and lift and hover. Actually plant the whole foot and then push away from the floor and see if you can rise all the way up through your torso. So your left leg is out to the side, your right knee is under your right hip, your right shin is straight out behind you. So if you saw this position, this pose from the side, you can see my shin pointing right back behind me. Okay, so sometimes diagonal, but that's a bit less stable. I would take it. And for what we're going to do next, make sure that it is straight out behind you. Okay, So from here, we're going to bring hands to hips, and we're going to find a hinge through the hips. So I'm in a good position so you see what's happening here. I'm going to send my sit bones towards that right heel and my chest forward. And I'm going to go as low as is available, and then I'm going to lift, and as I lift, I'm going to squeeze through my glutes. So make sure you've got that squeeze and that hip pushing, those hips pushing forward. So let's do that a couple more times. Sit bone towards the heel, any amount that is available. Your chest going forward is your counterweight. And then lift and squeeze through those glutes. And again, sit bones back, flex through the hips. And lift, squeeze glutes. Do one more. Sit bones back. And lift. Nice job. Reach your arms up. Inhale. And then on your exhale, returning to your table pose. So right hand is going to plant, left hand, and then come back, both knees on the mat. Take a cow and a cat. Drop the belly, chest forward, gaze up. Round the spine. One more. And then neutral spine, and let's try this on the other side. As you're ready, your right leg extends out behind you. On your exhale, knee to chest, draw it in. Inhale, extend. Right leg, right elbow. Inhale, extend. Right leg underneath you, left elbow. Inhale, extend. Now is when we're going into that side plank. So now you're pivoting on your left knee. Your left shin is your kickstand. You're turning towards your right side. Right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Alternative, you can always bring and rest it on your hip. Your left hand is straight under your left shoulder. And then from here, we're going to find that lift and lowering of the right leg. So when you're ready, inhale to lift. Use that outer right hip. Exhale to lower. Keep your chest broad. Lift. Lower. Pushing your hips forward. Lift. Lower. There you go. And again, lift. Lower. Let's do one more. Inhale, lift. And exhale to lower. Plant that right foot, push away from the floor, rise up with your torso. So now you've got your left knee under your left hip, right leg out to the side, hands to your hips, and we're going to find that hinge through the hips and that lowering of the sit bones towards the heel. So take a full breath in, lengthen, and then on your exhale, send your sit bones back. And towards that heel, your chest goes forward. So find that flexion through your hip and lift, squeeze through your glutes. Push the hips forward. And again, flex, lower, and take it back. Okay. So it's not so much like the torso moving. It's all coming from that hip flexion. Right, so make sure that those hips are moving here. They're going up and down. It's not your torso folding forward. Right? Does that make sense, hopefully? As if you could sit on your left heel. One more. And then the next time that you lift it, take a full breath in. You might reach your arms overhead. And then on your exhale, return to your table pose. Left hand lowers, right hand lowers, and then knees onto the mat. Take a cow and a cat, breathing in and breathing out round. One more, inhale and exhale. And then take a cow pose, breathing in, tuck your toes. And then on your exhale, make your way into downward facing dog. Sit bones lifting up and back. Push the floor away with your hands. Maybe a little wiggle through your legs if you wish. Breath in. And a breath out. And now with your next inhale, walk your feet towards your hands. And find a forward fold at the top of your mat. You could hold on to opposite elbows, relax through that upper body, Always welcome a bend in the knees. If you feel like closing up a bit more, you could wrap your arms behind your legs if that's available, holding onto wrists, forearms, elbows. And you could get your belly and chest as close to your thighs as you can, bending into those knees. Couple more breaths. And then with your next inhale, hands to the hips and slowly rising up. And we'll find mountain pose. All right, I think we'll do the next one a little bit more on Friday, but just like a little taster. It requires some balance, so if you've got a wall nearby, that might be helpful, or a piece of furniture. But what we're going to do is we're going to ground through the left leg, and then imagine that you were trying to draw the right hip up and float your right foot off the ground. Okay. And then we're going to take those toes forward and imagine drawing a circle on the floor. So forward and then out to the side, as if you were drawing it with your big toe, back behind you. And then try to do this without changing too much your torso. Okay, and then out to the side and forward. You might even cross over towards your left. And then again, out to the side, back behind you, and you might even cross a little bit behind also. Okay, see if you can do this a few times with a really stable upper body. And of course, stable standing leg as best you can. Slow, better than fast. It's going to require more control. And that control comes from that engagement through the leg muscles, the hip muscles, and the core to support you here. Now, the next time that your right leg goes behind, see if you can bend into your standing leg, and then see if you can plant your right foot somewhere kind of towards your left. So your legs are crossed, you've got to bend into your front leg, and then this is a nice stretch for this right side outer hip. Okay, and then we'll take it even more. Left hand can stay on your hip, and then right arm reaches up and over, and think about your hips going to the right and your right hand going to the left. So see if you can feel a stretch through outer right hip. And strong through that front leg. And then as you breathe in, come back through center, and then unwind your legs and come back to stand, both feet, one next to the other. Nice, so let's try it on the other side. First, take a breath in, and take a breath out. All right, so same idea. See if you can imagine that you were bracing your left leg up and into the hip socket, and some lift through your left hip so that left foot floats, and then point your toes and take that leg out or that foot in front of you and begin to draw those circles. Keeping as best you can that torso stable. Okay, so chest stays open, broad. And again, slower will require a bit more agency of all the little movements that have to happen, more control. And then the next time that left foot comes behind, take it a little further, see if it can plant. You will bend into your right knee. Okay. And then once you've got this, let's get that stretch through outer left hip. So left arm can reach up and over, push your hips towards the left. Stay grounded through both feet and bend into the front leg. Breathing in, chest broad, and breathing out. Nice work. One more here. Inner thighs towards one another. And then as you breathe in, come back with your torso. Weight goes into that right foot. And then bring that left foot back next to the right. Nice job. Coming out of it, I find that a lot of times is a bit more tricky, and I've got to put my brain into where the weight goes. So if it happened to you, we're not alone, okay? So mountain pose it is, and we're going to make our way down onto the mat. So when you're ready, take your arms up, inhale. And on your exhale, bend in your knees as we fold forward. Inhale into a halfway lift. And exhale, fold. From here, lowering those sit bones, bending into the knees. Take it as far as is available, and then see if you can plop your sit bones down onto the mat. And legs are going to be in front of you. And then feet are going to go wide, and knees are going to be bent and wide too. Hands out to hips, prop your spine up. Give your shoulder blades a squeeze, your chest a stretch. Take a full inhale. And then on your exhale, drop your knees towards the left side. Window shield wipers. Inhale, come back through center. And drop them towards your right. Inhale, center, towards the left. Inhale, center, and towards the right. As you inhale, come back through center, take them to the left, sweep your right arm across, over, and rotate your torso towards the space behind you. Squeeze through right glute, stretch through front of right hip. Breathe in. Breathe out. Right hand returns, knee come back up, and then take it over to the right side. Knees lower, and then your left hand comes across, over, plants, and find that rotation through your torso. You might be looking back. Again here, squeeze through left glute, and stretch through front of left hip. As you breathe in, left hand comes over, knees come back up, feet to hip width, and let's take it down onto the mat. Arms reach forward, take a full breath in, broaden chest, and then weight of the head, control it, chin to chest, begin to round as you lower that lower back, that mid back, those shoulder blades, and the head. And once all of that is down, those knees can come in. You can give yourself a little squeeze here, a bit of a rock if that feels good. And then let's cross the right thigh over the left. And you could do this with your feet off the ground, just like you are, or you can always put your feet down on the ground if you prefer. And see if you can feel some stretch through outer hips, glutes. We've done this one before. If you feel like you need a little bit more, you can try this. It's the shoelace pose. So your hands are going to come around your shins, or as lower towards your feet as you can. And then flex through your feet, and then you're going to be pulling your legs away from one another, your lower legs away from one another, out to the sides. So if you weren't feeling a stretch through glutes, outer hips, this would probably get to that. You just make sure your knees are feeling okay with it. Breathing in and breathing out. And then release, unwind your legs, and let's go straight to the other side. So your left thigh over the right thigh. Inner thighs going in towards one another. Think about that internal rotation through those thighs. And then again, you could stay here. You could grab a hold of the lower part of your legs and then pull those feet away from one another. You can also play with the distance between your knees and your belly and your chest. So sending your knees a little further away from you and then squeezing them back in. If you bring them in more, there'll be more stretch through the glutes. If you take them away from your chest, there'll be a little less. And then release what you have. Unwind your legs. And then hands behind your thighs and just take your feet up towards the ceiling. And now find some rotation, gentle rotation through your ankles. Wiggle your toes. Switch direction. And if you feel like you can hold the legs here without using your arms, then you could send your arms towards the ceiling too. But now try to make this as passive as possible. So you're reaching through those fingers, through those feet, but you also are kind of dropping. You're dropping the shoulder blades, you're allowing the hips to be really heavy. Imagine stacking arm and leg bones. So there might be a curl through your fingers, a little bend through your knees and elbows. And maybe closing your eyes and see if you can find some kind of floating sensation here. And then we'll gently lower those arms, those legs, and then find your way into Shavasana. Whatever is most comfortable, maybe those legs lengthen out onto the mat. Maybe you keep your knees bent. Maybe your hands rest on your belly or down by your side. If you prefer any other shape, you could go there. And now practice being the observer of the person that's there on your mat. Observing their physical body, their sensations. Observing their mental activity. And can you observe with compassion, with love, with understanding? Just a few minutes here. and bringing your awareness back to your breath. And take a deeper breath in, really expand chest and rib cage. Maybe an open mouth exhale. And then begin to gently move through your toes, through your fingers, your ankles, your wrists. Take your time. You might come onto your side if you're on your back, or you might roll all the way up into a seat. We'll meet there, your hands resting in your lap, or maybe your hands resting at your chest. Your eyes might stay closed as you arrive here in your seat. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears and let the crown of the head reach a bit taller. As always, acknowledging the practice, acknowledging ourselves for practicing today, acknowledging those who practice with us today and all those times before, and then acknowledging all those who make it possible. Ending with a word that means that the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.